Neil Gaiman's online journal, he writes, "I think the most important thing I learned from Stephen King as a teenager was that if you just write 1 page a day, 300 words, at the end of the year, you'd have a novel." It was immensely reassuring. Suddenly, something huge and impossible became strangely easy. As an adult, it's how I've written books that I haven't had the time to write, like my children's novel Coraline. When I say the words time management out loud, it really conjures up a lot of negative feelings, and I tend to think of, self-help bros and hustle culture and toxic productivity hacks. But unfortunately, if you're like me and you're trying to do all the things in the day and are limited 24 hours, you probably will benefit, like me, from a little bit of structure and creating an environment that really suits us to create. Having a setup and building a life that really makes creating less of a chore and a lot more doable, a lot more easy to fit in our lives. So I really want to calibrate time management into less of, I have to do this and I only have a certain amount of time and I'm so stressed and I gotta do it all, hustle, hustle, hustle. And I want to change that more into, let's work super smart and set up creativity so that it's a seamless part of our routine. Sort of the doing less but more often approach I really like. So you're setting your life up to do something maybe every day for only a short amount of time, such as Stephen King saying, I only need to write a page a day. That's brilliant. Versus making it a huge thing, a huge obstacle in our lives that is so difficult to achieve. I also really like this thing that Rich Roll says. If you know who Rich Roll is, he's a podcaster and ultra marathoner and activist and does so many things in his life. And he really didn't have success until his 50s, but he always says this thing, and it's, what would it feel like if you didn't push, but you still did the thing? And I just absolutely love that. It's like, how can we make sure that we do the thing that we want to do without feeling like it's pushing a boulder up a hill? And it's fun as well. That's important, right? And yeah, so I just want to, talk about a few things that have helped me and that I've been reading about and learning about for this sort of time management subject, if you will. Okay, so what has helped me? I've become so much more productive in the last 5 years. I've been a painter my entire life, and I really was not producing a lot per year until 5 years ago. Even I've been a lot more the past 3 years, especially. One of the things that's helped me is to really assess my life and ask myself, what can I reduce? I really want to simplify my life to the main core things that are super important to me, instead of trying to do everything and the kitchen sink. Niching down, essentially, in my life and in art as well. So in your life, it's what are you doing that's spending, that's taking a lot of time that maybe isn't super important? My boyfriend and I actually, a few months ago, implemented no TV Monday through Thursday. And as painful as it is, I'd love to watch a show every night, and I've totally gotten behind on every single show. I used to always be up to date on my shows, and I'm not anymore. But it's really been game-changing for, just having more time in the day. There's all kinds of stuff in the city that I'd love to go do. I'd love to go to the park every day or, hang out with friends every day. But I really had to ask myself, where can you reduce? And that means I'm not gonna go to every fun event, or I'm not gonna go to every dinner, but I'm going to reduce to the core most important ones. So the really important invites, like birthdays, celebrations, a really fun event, I'm gonna say yes to, of course, because you gotta have balance in your life. But saying no and reducing to the main important things is a lot more valuable too, and you're gonna be happy about the choices because you'll actually enjoy the things that you're doing versus spreading yourself so thin and just kind of saying yes to a lot of things. Even things like cooking a lot, I love cooking, but I kind of had to ask myself, this is taking a lot of time, making fun dishes, so how can I save some time by just, getting some frozen veggies and making some rice and calling it a day instead of making fun, elaborate meals all the time. I got a treadmill so that I could walk while I work, which is doing two things at once. And then as far as your art and your paintings, reducing there as well. Like if you are sort of putting your hand in all the pots, like you're trying sculpture one day and you're practicing your drawing and you're practicing your watercolor and practicing your oil paints, maybe see which one you really like the most, which one you're gravitating towards and you really enjoy the most, and go a little bit deeper on that one. Go deep on the ones you love and put the other ones on the back burner. It doesn't mean you can't do them. Like they're still gonna be there. They can be a hobby or whatever, but going deeper on the core thing that you want to get better at is important. And the reason this helps with time management is that you're only gonna have like a few things in your life to worry about. It's like, for me, it's oil painting, walking outside, I love to walk, doing some weight workouts a few times a week, seeing friends once a week, going to bed early and reading, and then obviously seeing my family, stuff like that. Doing this practice is going to make you feel like you have so much more time in the day, and it is just magical. We are living in the golden age of online tools. So, wait, this sounds like an ad or something. Okay, it's not an ad. But if you are not using online tools, like you're really missing out. Some that I love are Canva. I love Canva so much. I love GPT. Yeah, there's so many out there depending on, what you're doing specifically. But for example, Canva. I love Canva so much. It's basically a platform where you can, there's images and text and different things, and you can create all types of banners or logos, collages, whatever. So for me, the way I use it is, instead of when I'm planning out a painting idea, I used to like sketch out a bunch of ideas and like paint studies to try to, come up with a new painting idea for a larger canvas. Now I can actually use Canva and create like a pretty quick study or, studies, and like play with the colors. Do I want it warmer or cooler? The placement of the objects and like the composition. And it is so fast, and I don't have to like do multiple drawings, which if you like that and you want to do that, it's fun for you, that's great as well. But I just find it so amazing to quickly be able to come up with studies and change things. Even like if I'm doing a painting, I could upload the photo to Canva and like add elements on there, like add a dog here, add a fence here, and see how I like the new image, and then go back to painting. So this has saved me a ton of time, and for my YouTube channel, I'll use ChatGPT for helping me with scripts, just coming up with the basic like rough draft or research part of it. There are lots of online editing tools if you like are a creator on TikTok, that kind of thing. So yeah, empower yourself with online tools, and you can also use things like Notion or project management tools if you want to organize your ideas. I love using Trello, is really good for just like having ideas for things, and even like chores. I like using it for household chores as well. Let's talk about living our life so that we can bring our life into our creative habits, our creations that we make. If you don't live your life, it's hard to have something to say and to feel in your artwork. I've really noticed this for myself. I feel like living your life is important, especially if you're like a songwriter. I've heard that a lot, where it's like, if you're just in the studio every day, what do you have to write about? You're not experiencing heartbreak and loneliness and happiness and joy and all these, various emotions that really support art. And they're the heart of paintings and music and everything. So for me, I really like to use reference photos from my iPhone that I take. Like, they just inspire me for new painting ideas. If I'm never like being outside and taking photos and stuff, it's hard to get inspired because I don't have those photos. So for me, living my life is super important to support my art. Going on lots of walks, taking reference photos, seeing friends and being social, and like having ups and downs and emotions in life. My dog passed away recently. It's been super, super hard and, really emotionally tragic, but also kind of inspiring for art as well, like feeling those emotions that I haven't felt like ever or in a long time. So, I just encourage you, if you are someone who tends to stay locked in your studio all day or in your room and you get in the habit of just like saying no to things because you want to create, that's amazing and like good for you for having a work ethic. But also make sure you go out and live your life, take reference photos, meet people, have weird interactions, like have awkward moments and joyful, blissful moments and all those things, and learn about different things. Read interesting books that have nothing to do with art. Like all of those, like reading, I love reading so much. It really supports your art. If you're just reading about totally different people and ideas and places and hobbies and lifestyles than yours, you can really pull all those pieces and create beautiful things. Something I really liked doing in the past is I like having like a step-by-step approach for painting. So there's this artist I follow on Instagram named Sorry Not Sorry Art. I'm sure a lot of you know her. She's incredible. I love her. She's also here on YouTube. And she one time posted like a series of like 5 to 7 images, and it was like each step of how she approaches her painting, like underpainting, highlights, dark areas, filling in the details. It was like 7 easy steps, and it was so awesome because being a painter can be so challenging, and a songwriter, anything you do is so challenging if you feel overwhelmed and you're not sure like what's the first step to take. So having like a step-by-step guide, it could be something you create and you set up in your own, or something that someone else recommends, but just having like a little guide where you're like, this is step 1, this is step 2, it makes it so much less daunting. And then, you know, thinking about my process, I keep it pretty simple. Like I like to, often I'll do an underpainting in acrylic with, it's like a sherbet orange color. And then I like to fill in like flat shapes all over. And then I would go in with like dark areas and then highlights and then the last final details. But yeah, figure out what you like to do. Do you like to do an underpainting? Yes or no? If so, what color? Pick one. Do you like to do dark or light areas first? Do you like to map out all the shapes first? Or do you like to start in one corner? Write out like 5 steps of how you approach your paintings, and then just kind of go to that guide every time you sit down. I talked about this when I mentioned the tools earlier, but planning your projects beforehand can be super, super helpful, so that when you go to create on the day, you already have like everything planned out, like all the brunt work, and you don't have to do that first, so you can jump right into your project. This is very helpful. So I mentioned that I use Canva. So I will plan out paintings in there, and I'll just kind of have them ready so that on the day that I am planning to paint, I know I'm going to paint Saturday for 4 hours. Then I already have like a few paintings ready. I know what colors I'm going to use. I have, you know, the collaged images or sketches or whatever that I created on there, and I really like it. I'm excited about it, and I can just dive in on Saturday. So spend a little time, you know, having like a planning day. Plan your projects. Like, don't just show up on the day that you're gonna create and just think that it's all gonna go great if you don't plan. I've made this mistake hundreds of times. It's never good. Like I always am like, oh, I'm just gonna like let it flow, you know, do whatever comes to me. Like, ooh, it's, you know, I'm so creative. It's like, no, it just ends up being like ugly mush, right? We all know that feeling. So plan, plan, plan. Have, you know, images in your phone that really inspire you, drawings, sketches that inspire you, themes, colors. Have it all kind of laid out. Maybe even do your underpainting like the day before, so you already have kind of an idea of your composition. And then when you go to paint on the day that you're planning to do it, you'll already have a base. You know, the canvas won't be white and, you know, scary, blank. It'll already have like a first layer, so you feel, you know, more prepared going in. And the last thing I'll mention that has been immensely, immensely helpful for me in my painting journey is to go into the session every time with one clear objective. Whether that be finish this bottom right fence, or paint a whole underpainting in orange, or finish the dog's fur right here, or paint this green grass area. Like, just have one very simple objective, and I swear that just takes away like all the worry. It just kind of washes the anxiety away of like this painting that I want to be perfect and I'm stressed about, and it just reduces it to that one goal for that day. And I promise you that has been so, so helpful. And you know, once you do that section, maybe you'll want to paint more, maybe you won't, you know, but just go in with that clear objective and tackle it, and don't think about the rest of the painting. Just have, you know, the one goal, and that's it. And if you like this video, please like and subscribe. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers soon, so I would love to have you in my world. And I'm wishing you a wonderful week full of very well planned out days, full of lots of creating and awesome time management. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye.